Why KapVista Ventures? So I've been in the space for the last 8 years as a founder, as an angel investor, as a connector, as a deal maker, and now as a VC. The reason why I wanted to start KapVista Ventures is because I've seen an opportunity. Now, the rising caliber of tech and the power of the founders outside of Silicon Valley is at its all-time highest. You've got developers and founders who are moving outside of the big hubs to start tech companies for the quality of life and the cost of living. But it's also seeing these ecosystems grow, and unfortunately the access to funding is not the same as it is in these larger communities like Silicon Valley, New York, and London. So what we've seen is really strong founders coming out of Australia and New Zealand, but they're undervalued. They're generally undervalued, and they're a lot further along than their US Silicon Valley counterparts. For example, a Series A B2B SaaS company here in Australia is generally doing anywhere from $500,000 to $2 million in revenue. They'll be raising anywhere from $1 to $5 million at a sub $15 million valuation. Whereas that same company, same Series A company in the US would be, 75% of the time would be still pre-revenue. And if they are, revenue generating, it would be under that $500,000 mark. They would be raising anywhere from $3 to $10 million at a between $25 and $30 million valuation. So what we've seen is there is a really good opportunity for us to invest into these early stage companies here in Australia, and then using the networks and the relationships I've built over the last 8 years with investors and boots on the ground in the US is helping these companies get to these much larger markets and realizing the increase in valuation. So what we want to do is raise our first fund. We've got a bit of a track record using my own personal capital, but now we want to raise our first fund to invest into companies from Australia and New Zealand, and then help get them over to these new markets, sharing the deal flow with much smarter investors in these new markets, and helping get boots on the ground and realizing that difference in valuation. So if this is something of interest to you and you want to know more or potentially back us in our first venture fund, please let me know and we can have a conversation.